Hello everybody, this is Vinton, aka BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday and we're doing more Phoenix Wright. Alright, catching up on where we were last time. So yeah, Dahlia Hawthorne? I might actually be siding with her now. I am kind of confused about that. Yeah, so she is now a freaking nun in a, a spiritual meditation kind of area. I'm trying to remember exactly the place. I don't know. It was a spiritual name. I'm trying to remember that one. But anyways, so yeah, we've now been roped into a crime. Maya and probably Pearl are now stuck on the other side of the cliff, starving again. Just, I was thinking about that the other day. Just why did they keep getting either kidnapped or in some horrible trouble? Ah, yeah, Hazakura Temple. There we go. How about them Terry Falls? There. Oh yeah. But and the other weird thing is that we're playing as Miles Edgeworth which is oddly refreshing but confusing at the exact same time. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna swap over to this screen and we're going to continue. And again, the last we left off, we'd finished off the investigation for at least the first part. Maybe it's the whole part. I have no idea. Oh, whoopsies. Buttons, do I speak them? No. And I don't know why I like to explain these things before the stream starts, but I don't know, just for full disclosure and things. I'm a little winded because I got the mother of all headaches at like 5 o'clock today. I don't know what the heck brought it on. I think it might just be sleep deprivation or something. Because, but yeah, I've taken, okay, what's the exact measurement? Like a chronic buttload of Advil. So I should be fine. And most of the time when I play Phoenix Wright, that tends to like brighten up my spirits and brighten up my energy. So I think this will actually be a pretty good, a pretty good way to make me feel better. Yeah, I'll be good. I'll be good. If it comes back for any particular reason, I'll put off the stream till a little later. I'm good. Again, this might help. So to the game. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 1. Yep. Oh my, Mr. Thorese feels that way about me? Yep. Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Thorese is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. Lying bitch. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donim, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well, then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry, I've made the necessary arrangements. Ah, the good old Edgeworth. He's got a step ahead of everybody. I see. Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth. I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been trusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Alright, I have a theory about who it might be that I'm going up against. Certainly hope that the theory is correct. February 9th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7. Let's just say I think it is a prosecutor that we have seen before. All right, court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Oh, the prosecution is not ready. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Oh, that's a darn shame. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. It's not that easy. This court finds the defendant... Yep! That's what I was hoping. How you doing? The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Shut your mouth. Legends are a thing of the past. I'm a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purpose of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite the big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? Oh, God. Shut your mouth. There is no such weakling as the man amongst those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't. But I'm sure... I told you there is no such weakling. What is it, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. A bailiff, remove that whip. I have no objection with the whip. Why, of course. That's what Edgeworth likes. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Ballsy. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you. To crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Jesus. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donim. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. And the sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Of course. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to our crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, God. Someone get her a stepping stool. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Now, hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Sit the hell down, Judge. Go drink yourself a gallon's worth of maple syrup. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, There are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back, pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. There we go. Now we can have a conversation. I'm looking forward to some of the shots in the back. You know, the ones where the courtroom's freaking out, because I want to see how many jugs she's actually standing on. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Oh, little old me? Well, I'm the head of nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. I think I'm in love. Sorry, but you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Oh, okay. The court is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? Yeah, no need to get your bikini in a twist. Just, let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. The gag wouldn't have happened if they didn't run out of memory. Yeah, hey, whatever. Some of the best things in video games happen because, we ran out of memory. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Yeah. That night of the murder. Oh, murder. Such a horrible thing, I'd say. Don't you know? Yeah, that night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the... These are like the same goddamn voices, except one of them's a little higher. Temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up. Violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, and that's when I saw it! So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my backs hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. Okay, so noted that, if they did. I'm trying to think if there's any... I mean, no, there wouldn't be any bathtubs over there, but... Whatever. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miss Miles Edgeworth? Murder? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting trapped in a trap. Because you know it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. We're working with Avant Karma, so yeah. I imagine traps aplenty. Alright. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. And there's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? Yeah, it is all quite exacting. It can be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor, watching to make sure a spoiled child studies? A tutor, a whip in your with a whip in your case. If that's the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Violently? Yeah, that's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and a fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. Actually, you seem very happy about that. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. So I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it up to wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolyte so that they don't pass away. Yeah, that's very nice transition being like, we don't want people dead on our account. Oh, gee. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath? My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? No other specifics, please. My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I knew it. I know what's on your mind. Oh, no. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? No. I'm having an old bag situation. This is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going on about? Good. Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Oh, God. That'd be hilarious if it was. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I'd finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in that case. That certainly seems to be true. There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Alright. Left Iris to help the Acolyte and return to Hazakura Temple. Well, I mean, the thing that is the biggest sticking point for me is Iris's testimony herself that states that she was in her room from 10 p.m. onwards, and she didn't come out in any way. Objection! Alright, that's easy enough. Probably going to turn around and something horrible's going to happen, but we'll wait for that. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests upon their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well. Don't worry, I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights-out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that. A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Good work. Old people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Because you're the one that's the most whipped. Yeah, anyway. Neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect. Crystal clear. Especially in winter. Probably in, like, blinding pain in winter, though, so I don't know about that. I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Alright, okay, so new testimony is in here. Okay, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at... Hey! No, she wasn't. I don't think so, because I have the hood. Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out to me like a sore thumb. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake. An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder... No. I seem to recall. Received before the lights went out. Heh! Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood! Well! It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Smarmy asshole. Order in the court. Witness Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile, rather. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Stop it. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. Well, shit. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easy. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. A very strange water, I'd say. I finished my bath around 11 o'clock, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was... Oh, Miss Scalise, and with that sword of all things. Mr. Calise was staying in the corner room, which faces out over onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, it's something like that. Oh, this judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. Sick burn. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Absolutely not. It is a character quirk, along with my freaking whip. I finished my bath around 11 o'clock, and I thought I should return to the temple. Habit of saving. Just in case something goes absolutely awry.
Hold it.
What were you doing just there? It's not just saving my progress. Just forget about it. How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hasakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway towards the main hall. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and...
Hold it.
You say you heard a noise? Thump! Just like that. That could only be the sound of a victim falling. Really? Other things can go thump in the night, lady. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump! Just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling on the ground? I never thought of that. Ho 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 ho! The next one to laugh gets a whipping. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over the courtyard and Iris was, Mr. Calise, and with that sword of all things. This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... You're the horn dog, lady. I got nothing to do with it. The murderer who stabbed the victim with the sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it. There was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please don't keep us in suspense. Her hood. Her hood? That's right. It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. Bullshit. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? Well, the fact... Alright, yeah. Alright. Is it important or is it not? I would have to say yes, just because these things tend to lead somewhere at least. I'm going to say it's important. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at this moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, add the statements to your testimony. No problem. And now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on.
Hold
You all sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand it? It's our style. Yeah, that's it. Right. Spirit mediums don't exactly have a cacophony of money just sitting in the backlog. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip. At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now please tell us about the victim, eh? Okay. So, Mr. Khalees was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor? No, Hazakura Temple is a single-story building. But the mountain itself sloped it downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back. To about the height of a 2-story building. Oh, I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all. Why did you carry things? The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out her window. What makes you so sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump. Just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Okay, so that's accurate. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remarks? It doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. She said very specifically that finished the bath around 11. So, it's way past the forecasted time when that stuff would be happening. I don't know. Okay, I think I need to just start trying things, so... Objection! No, okay. Figured that was wrong. That statement contradicts the data provided by this piece of evidence. It does? How do you mean? Forgive me, Your Honor, but you just said it yourself that it does. Don't try to play mind games with me. Oh, curses. It appears I have yet to adjust to being on this side of the courtroom. Iris didn't have her hood on. What does that prove? I don't know. I've kind of given up. Nope. No. I'm just trying shit. Okay. Nope. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial, nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. This case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. Court finds the defendant Iris of Hazakura Temple guilty. Damn it. Okay, the hood itself is not the evidence. Staff. No, I'm lost as balls. Maybe it has something to do with the sword. A very specific... No. I thought maybe a very specific thing you just said. Okay, what about... crime photo? Nope. Ah, crap. Oh, I'm lost. I don't know. The only thing I can think is that Iris doesn't have any spiritual powers. And these hoods are used to protect the wearer from being possessed by spirits, from using spiritual powers. She don't have them? No, that wouldn't prove anything, though. I don't fucking know. Thought I was going somewhere, but I have no idea. I think I'm just gonna need to start rolling through these. Luckily, I have a lot of health. That's right. What? Oh my god. You know what? This is cheating. This is like hyper super cheating. But fuck it. So we know it's the autopsy report. Can I at least take a look at it and see what would make that make sense? So the stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out her window. This is the contradicting piece of evidence. So why? Time 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11. Oh, okay. Oh, that is what you're going off of here. All right. The fact that the death happened sometime between 10 and 11, and she said that 11 o'clock she'd finished up with her bath, and then she was moving off, and then she heard a thump. That's what it is. It's complicated as hell, but it makes sense. It's just hard for me to figure that out. All right, fine. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyways. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death, right? Oh, that's it? Strange. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to the to take attention to the fall? Shit. Well, I screwed up that one. I can't get every single one of these. Holy shit! I have the answer things right, and I think that's appropriate for one that I actually didn't get right personally. So anyway, order. The victim was killed and then fell? If that's the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room, don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of a window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Dunham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Were you? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. Yeah, however, if there was no blood in the room... Gosh, son of a bitch. I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this. As I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on a wound. Yeah, that's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. Perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion, then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all the contradictions. Yeah, we'll see. Oh god, yep, there's the bell. Great. Order. Now, I must admit that this is a probable version of the event. I'd expect no less from a Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems And we need a clear testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Ooh, a German masseuse massage. With the whip? Oh, boy. All right, all right. Okay, further details. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Calise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I woke, Mr. Amy was stabbing Mr. Elise through the back. And how did that happen? And this all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. I mean, I'm no longer perfect. When I looked across the scene, save button. Okay, so when I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all of this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Elise. Think carefully, this is very important. It's Iris we are talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I look it over, the sword was already in Mr. Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before. So you're saying you saw the victim's blood? This is back and forth with you. Yeah, that's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. Oh, what should I do? Press this point further? Let's hear a little bit more about what the hell that is. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, is that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly fucking possible. It's got so many spokes on it that it's not cleanly coming out anywhere. Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out? Yeah, that's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Amy. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Yeah, bullshit. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That's something which couldn't possibly have happened. Stop it! Okay, this one's way too goddamn obvious. I've never seen so much blood before. Oh shit, wait, I've already done that before. Okay, if all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Von Karma? That's... Indeed, it is strange now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So, what did you do after that witness? That's when I fainted. Can't blame me, can you? Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes. A young man with very prickly-looking head woke me up by stepping on me, actually. I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation. Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awaking? And when I awoke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. Hold it! By Mystic Amy, you were referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with the Shishishito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But to then make Mystic Amy hold the blade... Truly a heinous, despicable crime. It is easy to despise something, anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you anyway. What is the problem? Exactly, why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. Man, that's true. So true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself... There isn't always that phrase might come in handy some days. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shishishito from the Amy statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hands of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. Right, I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is. Saw the instant in which the blade, plunged into the hilt, was smoothly drawn out. You're saying this slid out smoothly? Objection! No. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. No, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. I'm not getting in bed with you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please, explain explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. doesn't appear. What meaningless drivel. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep. So should I so choose. Here the objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when the blade was left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the Shishido. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of this sword! No! No, order, yeah, bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence? All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. What does this all mean? Oh shit, I missed that part. Son of a bitch. Having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shishido. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardily foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us thinking this sword was the murder weapon? Well, that's because Mystic Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shishido was the murder weapon. Order! Stop! So maybe the Shishido was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw under the pile. Trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me. Could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible. Just maybe what actually happened was... it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about? On a boot, rather. The murder weapon, I mean, maybe... I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then! I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Okay. Location of the weapon, huh? Great. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She could drive a snowmobile after all. Horse malarkey. A witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. Snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Okay, then. Well, I did notice that the snow was melted on it before, so I thought it was eventually going to be put into the situation. But that solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. I mean, a lot of this is conjecture. It's like, you don't have any proofs being like, oh no, there's probably a murder weapon in the water. Show me. Saw the murder at around 11. You all sure about the time? Yes, I was worried about it after all. Oh, why was that? Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in a freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, now could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple. Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least. Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. Oh shit. Hold it. You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct? Right. The one who had trampled me. It seems she's the type to hold a grudge. There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him. He had forgotten it at home, apparently. What a naive boy, as always. Nowadays, if you forget your phone anywhere, you should be absolutely fearing for your life. Just be like, oh god, my entire life in my pocket. It's gone. Like, some people don't even carry wallets anymore. They just have their phone, and then they use, like, the, Apple or Android Pay just to be able to pay for shit. So, not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. I also have a whip phone. Anyways, I was really scared, and it was taking a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there, I saw tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. And now you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Screw it. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time? Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. Exactly. Was the engine clicking, sirs and madams in the audience? It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. often go around touching hot engines. Shit. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. Yeah, that sounds about right. There wasn't any snow on it? Ugh, curses! And it seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? Yeah, it takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. Oh, there's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I fetched some water and was heading back, and when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to ride anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Multi-dexterous little girl. While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh no, what's this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all this? Why go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Okay, there's your response. Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? Yeah, why? She's as over the top as always. Learned nothing. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Okay, well, let's take a look at the tracks real quick. Well, I mean, was it still snowing at the time? I'm trying to think if there would be multiple tracks here in any way. I don't think that's relevant. Well, I mean, it could be at some point, but again, I don't know, because it doesn't look like that there are any. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I do see. Oh, okay, no, because that could have been Phoenix's footsteps, because I think he actually did the whole walking thing. I see a set of footprints leading from the gate, moving that direction. What's really weirded me out is the fact that again, there's tracks coming back, but there aren't any going to there. I think that is a good piece of proof to be able to say, no, nobody took the snowmobile out to that location. So, murder weapon did not get thrown overboard. Objection! Yeah! Alright, we'll see. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You've finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Yeah, you're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? No, because the snow ended at 11, ma'am. Ah, I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? There's a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Montcalm, that is impossible. Would you care to explain? Why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claim, Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, please present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Well, all we'd have to do is take a look at the weather report. Snow with occasional lightning strikes. Snow happening from 7 o'clock to 10:50. And the murder took place at 11, according to what we had just been witness to. There would be no snow anywhere near here. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11 o'clock. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report. Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Yeah. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. God! How windy was it? Snowdrifts. I don't know. No order in the court. Very well, then. It looks like Miss Von Karma claims... her claims have been snowed in. Like, it's a snow joke. I'm Canadian. Ow! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. It's a factor, asshole. Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? No, you got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. Oh, I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well, then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where's your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? All right, what would be the proof? Well, Hazakura Temple map, autopsy report, crime photo. Let's take a look at the crime photo real quick. Seems like everything in the crime photo is not covered in snow. So that might be it. There's his testimony. Yeah, that might be it because the picture here was taken... Yeah, courtyard. At the very least it was taken. And there's no snow on the... I mean, okay. Well, the body could have potentially melted it because there was still residual body heat. That's possible. Note. Temple map. I kind of have to go with that. Just be like, here's a picture of the crime scene. And yeah, nothing's covered in snow. Let's try it. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right. But proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Denim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Gah! Got it! Order! Order! Just what are you? Stop whipping me, lady. I'm sorry, I'm not into it, okay? You can enjoy your kinks, but I'm a more simple man. Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when the person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have failed to see it, sister. Maybe. But when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible! Okay, how would that have happened, then? Order, order, order in the court! Oh, what does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night? Anybody? I don't think that's likely. You know, it's cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Oh, hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor! Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen a snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on the cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? I know. Something smells. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de Laduc Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim Elise de Her student. Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside the night of the murder? That's a... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris. But it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even... Okay, was that supposed to be designs or desires? I'm starting to think that maybe they got the wrong word for that. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man... What exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Oh, Larry... You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. Including your piss. Court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Alright. So, I guess it's time to talk to the butts. Hopefully this is fairly simple. February 9th, 11:15 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
All right, I'll help you in any way I can.
The first, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claimed to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple.
Psychologs? Huh? No. Very well. Second thing, then. That night, the temple's snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile?
There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you? But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, come on. You people need to stop locking away secrets. Iris.
I can't tell you about that yet.
Yet?
Not until her safety is confirmed.
Her?
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Dunim?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
As I thought, no psycholocks. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Okay. More stuff. I guess we're going to be talking to the crazy Brooklyn man. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where's the witness?
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery.
Suspicious behavior?
He was sketching something very intensely.
Dare I ask, what was the witness was sketching when he was detained?
He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip.
I can only presume that his intent... Oh, God!
Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court.
Boy, so she's got some personal shit with him now.
Laurie Stunim, I hope you're ready. Get in here!
It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today.
So. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt to this court. Hey! I was just artistically... Stop it! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color Viridian.
Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it?
I know. I graduated junior high, okay? Well, look, art is all about working in the field, isn't it?
Working in the field? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope.
That's it. Thanks, buddy.
It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence.
I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model.
You're so dead.
So, see, I got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Know how to use the technical term, Crimson Lake.
Why'd you hit me?
Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man.
Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now.
This is too much for me.
All right, Mr. Butts. What did you see?
I was at the lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. That girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Oh, no, Yedgy. Yedgy poo.
Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony.
I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? Why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation? Or anything else?
Oh, shit. Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people.
Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything. Every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy.
Well then, let us proceed with a cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. I was just about to say, absolutely do not touch this fabulous beard. We can delve into other details at a later time. What he saw? I was at the lodge out in the mountains looking up at the stars that night. You can't look at the stars. Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. So, witness, any idea as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. No, okay, give me a minute. Well, it was stolen that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. And a rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars couldn't be seen, it isn't like I was there to look at them, right? You knew the whole time, son of a bitch! See, you can do it if you try. No, ouch! There's only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge. I walked the bridge a number of times, but... A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times. I went once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night. You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to this small shack using this blackmail letter. Blackmail? No, that was simply a product of our dog. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. Holy shit. I'm kind of surprised I said all of that. Did I get that wrong? I'm going to look back at that footage and be like, did I get all of those words correct? I hope so. So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness. Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. Nah, he's got thick skin after years and years of being... putting up with it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry! You really didn't see it? Hey! No need to hit your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile? If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up! What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I got nothing to do with this. And I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, I expect to see those crimson lake faces now. I am neither a lake nor a crimson. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this to the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. I think this one might be it. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night. Well, this is probably... well, this is roundabout, and I'm not entirely sure, but... Oh, whoops. Objection. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, shit. Statement contradicts the data, tries the evidence. It does. How does it mean? Forgive me, Your Honor, but it just says... Shit. Because the other thing I was thinking was the tracks. Objection. Shit. Okay, no. Ring lights up, bell at 10. Just screw it. Hanging scroll. Objection. Nah. Feel like I should just mulligan this one. Because I saved. Sure. I'm sure it's not. That's fucking it! Ugh, I thought maybe. Alright, you know, I'll take it. I'm not even resetting, because I got one wrong. That's fine. I was like right on the cusp of being like, time to look it up. Horseshit. Okay, fine. Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic and you cause all sorts of trouble.
I'm sorry.
But having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction.
Yeah, gee, are you trying to console me?
It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create.
Well, you're totally pinning this on me.
Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts.
Yeah, that's right. Me, in the flesh.
Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change.
Yeah, but what do you want me to do, then?
Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you.
Edgy, I think I've finally woken up.
No, you haven't.
Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. Son of a bitch.
Be reasonable. At this point, you are more, undecisive than the goddamn judge. I'll ask again, then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? Part 2. Okay, then.
I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick.
You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you?
So, what happened to the bridge after it caught fire? Yeah, it was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone. Nah, I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say?
Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold.
I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky.
And now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
Very well. Crossing the streams. Oh, shit.
Yep. I went to the shack at around 9. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half?
Well, if you really must know, I was busy being excited, I guess.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
I set the meeting time at 10 o'clock p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too.
Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking my fond memories apart! Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
This light was, of course,
lightning. Like, kerpow! Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A big bada boom.
Yeah, like that. Or is it like that?
That's more like a punch from Miranda.
Oh god, you've got so many X's. Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge?
Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire.
Seeing that, what did you do?
Now, what do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart.
And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge?
Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind.
I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first.
Yeah, there was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out.
You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that?
The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught fire. Maybe around 5 minutes. I mean, I suddenly thought, hey, gotta go check this out.
How far is this small shack you were in from the bridge?
Hold on, well, I pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk.
And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there?
Like I'd recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school campfire trips can compare.
Well, should I press him for a little more info?
Why did you go to the bridge?
So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge. Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so?
Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was real cold. I didn't really want to go out there.
If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning.
In which case, please give testimony to that effect, witness. My reasoning? Okay, reasoning it is. I thought I'd never get another chance to see something so big burning.
So you decided to go and see what was happening.
That's right. We're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. That's not something you see every day. A real like, really special?
Can we really trust a witness who is unable to pronounce spectacle?
Life seems to love hitting the poor witness below the belt. Well, my motto is to hit life back as hard as I can. I'll give you a few hits, too, if you'd like, with my whip.
He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. Well, let's try and press this again and see if we can get the other... if there's anything else here.
Why didn't you call anyone?
Larry, let me ask you one thing.
Oh, what is it, Edgy? What's with that serious face?
Why didn't you call anyone?
What do you mean?
Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone... There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct?
Well, of course I thought of doing that.
So then, let's hear why you did.
Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason... It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone. I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later.
You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright.
Yeah. I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. Fire was pretty much out by then anyways.
Oh, what's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. More or less.
He told me about the burning bridge. Okay, so that's all the, all that stuff. I think there's a contradiction in this involved with time. But how do I express that? Let me see here. Alright, so let's make this happen here. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. So, he would have got up there So he said it would have took him about 5 minutes to decide, okay, I'll go up there. And then it took another 5 minutes for him to actually get up there. 1 more minute for Phoenix to come over. So it would have been about 10:56. Bikini was swearing left and right, up and down, that like it happened after 11 o'clock. And then much later on after that, like 10 to 20 minutes later, she went out there. The timing on this is all screwy.
Objection!
Yes, okay. I thought that might be it. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not.
What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien.
But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time.
I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take you to catch up with him? I'm terrible at those.
This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes at first, but more or less.
I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, that all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his fallen act.
That is impossible.
What do you mean?
11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there, in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time.
Excuse me? I have an objection.
Yeah, you do?
Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurie. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that.
Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m.
And why not?
It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means... what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes?
I feel like you just got brutally woken up by toilet splashback. I guess I was still sleeping after all.
You're always going to be asleep.
So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as such a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all.
Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes and there is a phone right next to it. Why then did you not report the accident?
Yes, witness. Why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? It's the putz, of course, exactly. That's exactly why he was there.
And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty.
That's what it sounds like.
Ah, but this is Larry we are talking about. And even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction.
Edgy, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. The time to get serious was about 15 minutes ago.
Just as I thought. You've been playing with us all this time.
Listen, I'm I'm gonna tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all?
Yes.
I may really say it this time. Everything. Then say it!
Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness?
Jerking it. No, What to one of my paintings? I'm a donym. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up.
Yeah, Judge is kind of exact same sentiments. Well then, you literally watched the bridge burn. I suppose artists can be strange folk.
That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch.
Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains.
And what would that be?
This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So, why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him.
You'll regret this, Edgy.
We'll see. I want to see this picture. There's probably some weird contradiction in it. Then again, I mean, a picture that was drawn by a random artist out in the middle of the woods is not exactly... I don't know. I don't think it meshes really well with actual incriminating evidence. But whatever.
I'm a donym. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing?
Tell us, Larry.
My name is Laurice. Get it right. Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am. Bullshit.
Just who exactly are you?
I'm Laurice Donym, apprentice extraordinaire.
That's what he calls himself, in any case. Then you are an artist?
Of course. I'm an artist. The real thing.
Yet again, that's what he calls himself.
Names mean nothing. There's only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing?
That is a very big issue indeed.
Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up in a frenzy of art.
And I want to see this picture. I want to see just the bridge burning down picture.
Sketching? The burning bridge? The burning bridge and everything that came with it.
Yeah, we're just going to draw some happy little clouds and trees as we catch the bridge on fucking fire. What came with it?
You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. The sketch of mine is... Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. Well, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean.
That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant the sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Yeah, like I said, too curious. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please?
Well. Even I couldn't have imagined it'd turn out like this.
Imagine what?
That Laurice Donym's debut would take place here, today, like this. Ow, 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 ow! Show it now! Okay, but steel yourselves. This.
Oh my, you are... Why is there a picture of a wait a minute. Burning lady? What's the point of that? That's interesting.
This is the world of Laurice Donym.
Such a crappy crayon drawing. Yeah. Well. So this is Dusky Bridge, correct?
Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. Yeah.
This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry?
What?
The burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate-looking figure?
Oh, you spotted that. I thought you might.
However much I might want to ignore it, I can't.
It's Iris, of course. Iris! I wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know. What would have happened to her if she just injured herself flying like that? Are you insane?
Larry, please, answer this next question honestly.
Okay.
Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames?
Yep, that's what I saw.
Sure.
That's why I drew it. I'm an artist. A real artist.
You!
Hi, the girl, she's really high up in this picture.
Slapped me.
Yeah, what was that for?
Exactly. What was that for?
This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. That's not how it works. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. I don't know. The last couple of missions back, with the Maximilian Galactica thing, I mean, we were very close to just giving up at that point. So, different strokes for different folks. Crazier judge. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high. My sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see.
This has to be some kind of a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth.
What? Me?
This witness is your friend, is he not?
Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth.
Let us get back to the cross-examination.
By force, if necessary.
Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron.
Well, what do you think of my debut piece?
Get that thing away from me. Okay, well now we have some crazy... Why? We'll see how that fits in somewhere. Now hurry up and cross-examine him. Okay.
I'm doing him. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching. In front of the bridge. I was whipped up in a frenzy. Okay, saw Iris flying. A white hood flying. What?
No! I'm not even going to check that. I don't even want to press that. It's just like, hood. Larry? What did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care.
In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I do exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that is the truth.
A whole $1. Wow, I'm a millionaire. If that's truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain.
And what might that be?
That the person who flew over that bridge could not have been the defendant Iris.
What? What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardily folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim?
Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood. Correct?
Of course he was. That rundown shack is quite a way from the bridge. That hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. Wow. Seems there are bigger fools in this world than the ones at the defense's bench.
Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing a hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight. That'd be hilarious. What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine.
Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood?
What?
Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick, you dog!
Get your brain out of your pants and think for 5 seconds, dude. I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded, straight into the garbage.
What is it now, witness?
Yeah, it feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come.
Edgy, today's the day I get you to completely stupefy you.
I mean, we've already been stupefied 10 times over already. How do you stupefy further? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness?
I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence.
Really? Definitive evidence?
Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Laurie Stonim, shall prove it.
By all means. I didn't expect to ask this again. We shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch. And show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality.
Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm gonna feed you a whopping serving of pain.
You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. I'm absolutely confused and... Oh my god. Anyway. Yeah. This is a thing.
When I reached Dusty Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night.
It has blood on it. Crystal sphere?
This one. Pretty, isn't it? My finest keepers.
That sphere. Where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere. Looks about...
What the fuck? How was... Wait, so how... Oh, God. Alright. So how did Elise's staff manage to break there? I'm starting to think actual spirits existed in this universe somehow. And it was half buried in the snow?
It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was still some falling as I walked the bridge.
The court accepts this crystal sphere.
That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards.
There's something on it. Oh my. It's blood! How do you know right away? Did you taste it? That's not good. What? Blood? I suppose blood is something that's very, identifiable, but...
You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore.
Didn't you want to be called Loris Donim only a few minutes ago? The man of many names, many faces. But all butts. Proof that Iris flew... How is this proof? When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. So, you went to the burning bridge?
That's right, to meet Iris. She actually flew to get to me. The least I could do was meet her halfway.
But the defendant was not at the bridge when you got there, you say?
I guess she went back to Hazakura Temple. She's a girl, after all. She must have wanted to look her best.
It must be lovely to live in the fantasy land of Larry's mind. Actually, it's so depressing that I can't even work up the energy to point. So what did you do next?
I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her.
So you searched all over for her?
She was flying pretty high, you know. I thought maybe she slipped on a landing and got hurt. Yeah, it was more than a possibility. And also, when I headed out to the shack the first time, I was snacking on a banana. I was pretty sure I threw the peel away somewhere around there, so just... Yeah, screw the idea that maybe the banana was frozen, but... Can one guy really be this stupid? So, did you find any signs of her so-called landing? I don't really remember. I kept on falling over myself and kind of lost it for a while there.
You fell over yourself?
Yeah, the snow was deep and there was even a banana peel out there.
Yep. That's stupid, and there's stupid, and then there's Larry Butts. I both hate and love this at the exact same time. It's like, oh god, the stupidity. It's seeping into my pores. The short of it is that you didn't find any signs of her landing, correct? And what happened next?
That led to me finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow.
Half buried?
Yeah, I was sitting in the snow with a little gathered on top of it. Oh, it was very hard to spot, actually. I mean, it was dark out too.
I'm impressed. You did well to find it.
No matter what you may think when you look at me, I'm a pro, a genius security guard. I use a pen light I borrowed from my company to help in my search. And it sparkled really bright, as if it was saying, "Here I am," to me.
It does indeed look very much like the crystal sphere on Iris's hood. But need I remind you that she was not wearing her hood that night?
I'm sure that I was specifically wearing a spare hood.
Nope. Each nun is assigned their own hood, and they are assigned only one.
I don't know anything about that, okay? And Iris is special, alright, dude? Even if she did steal a spare hood, I'll forgive her.
This is getting us nowhere. A destination for the day, it seems. However, this crystal sphere we found near the bridge, that is a fact. If it didn't come from a hood, where could it have come from? That is the question I aim to answer.
After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night.
Let me confirm this one last time, Larry. The reason you thought that this was Iris are the hood and the crystal sphere, correct?
That's right. My gut is never wrong. I met that old bikini the next morning, and her crystal sphere was still there, safe and sound.
Yeah, indeed. She was wearing it in this very room earlier today. This case isn't going to end without a fight. Exposing the obvious contradictions in this testimony will be easy, but I fear that all that awaits us are further mysteries.
No one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. Oh, really?
Objection!
Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere.
There was? Who was the stupid idiot?
Miss Elise de Nim, the mentor to a stupid idiot.
The victim?
I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere.
Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back! Oh, wow.
Crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. Exactly, yes. The other one was blue. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime.
Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. What? It's just, what does this mean?
If anyone jumped, or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere was found at the landing site. Was not hers either. No. I screwed up the words. And that means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donim. She's having none of this. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You can't do that. I saw it with my own eyes. And this crystal sphere. This is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Mr. Edgeworth, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Denim was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to the case. That is all. Miss Francisco von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? Oh, gee, maybe it's because we have a couple of scatterbrains and clowns in the court. The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of the murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case. That crystal sphere was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There is blood on the crystal sphere, is there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No way! All joking aside, just when did the crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Denim left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow the crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness, who you called, will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Mr. Edgeworth. Prepare, you say? I will prepare. Because I get the feeling some like ridiculous chain link of events is about to happen here. Can I prove it? Can I prove the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? I'm just going to say yes! Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. Simply prove it. That's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he's cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Alright, well now you're showing a picture of the murder. Does that have something to do with it?
Take that.
Yeah. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Birds of a feather flock together. Are you familiar with this phrase? Miles Edgeworth? I think one such bird is calling for its fellow now. Go, Edgy! Do it! Prove it! Win! 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 It's cheering. It's as though I'm listening to the ominous cause of ravens. So, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you do from here? One more chance, Your Honor. Right, time of the murder when Christopher was dropped. Yeah. Screw it.
Take that.
Nope. I don't know. Nope. Win. Mine.
Take that.
Oopsies. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, well, now we know that that's out of the way. Screw it. Oh, wow, okay, that works. I was just, the new thing. Maybe the ball's the proof. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. Oh, I get it. I understand now. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Yeah. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order! On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What could that have been? This sphere. There's some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. Yeah. The murder didn't take place in Hasakura Temple Courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention the whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hasakura Temple Courtyard. That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing! No, it isn't! You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost. At the moment of a blade's insertion, if you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Deliston body, Deliston not Delis, body was trapped under... Jesus Christ, I am losing all of these. Let's just restart that entire sentence. Delistonim's body was found in Hasakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hasakura Temple. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. And now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. I got a strange suspicion that I'm about to have to hand in some proof. Okay. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hasakura Temple. Okay. I'd have to say it has to be this. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon. but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order, order, order. Yeah! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the only one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Donim, really killed? If a body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creation could never see the truth, let alone describe it.
Objection!
This witness clearly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. That is not hold upable in court. I could draw a picture of a fuzzy pink alien, and that could not possibly be true. There. The defense stands firm on this point.
Edgy. Thank you.
That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner.
Excuse me.
There was one reason, and one alone, for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on the right.
Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. And I wouldn't have Franzi whipped me. Ouch! Miles Edgeworth! I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel.
Shame that your chance seems to have slipped by you.
What a shame, Franzi! This is all your fault! Such a terrible witness! You are an affront to all the legal... Stop whipping him. No, he doesn't deserve... I demand satisfaction! Leather and chains!
No. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you. Right. Court is now adjourned. Ta-da. Well, I guess we'll see if Phoenix is coming back in the next one, or if he's still bedridden. But I think we are going to be done because we've done a whole lot of wheel spinning this time around. Oh, hey, it looks like Phoenix will be returning again next time. But yeah, again, this has been a fun little aside of just doing... This is weird. It's kind of cool. Just playing as Miles Edgeworth. It's fun. Ooh, apparently we're going to be starting in the intensive care unit. Oh, no. Hottie. Oh, Director... I'm sure we're going to be running into Director Hottie next time, too. Why would they not have him show up? But anyway, yeah, I think we're going to call it for tonight because it's been quite a while, and there was there's a whole lot of just guessing this time around. I think the remainder of this mission, or the remainder of this chapter is going to be a whole lot of me just guessing. That's gonna hurt a whole lot. I don't know. If you guys are if you guys have any sort of like subtle tips you can give me that don't like immediately hand things out, I appreciate them because they do help when the chips are down and things are hot. So, anyways, that will do it for the stream tonight. Thanks everybody for coming out and just popping in to say hello. I appreciate it. if you wanted to take a look at this episode anytime after it's done, I'm going to be cutting out a lot of the wheel spinning that happened, and I'm going to be uploading it to the YouTube channel shortly afterwards. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't have any major things lined up at this current moment in time. Oh, I should mention one thing. I did some research, and I actually looked up the actual like release timeline for the Phoenix Wright games. And the next one that does indeed come out is going to be Apollo Justice. After Apollo Justice, the investigation series with Edgeworth are the next two games that happen. And for whatever reason, what was listed on there was Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton was one of the games that was listed on there. So I'm kind of wondering if, no, I don't know for certain, but is it canon to the Phoenix Wright series? Like, is there some weight to it? Probably not, but honestly, I kind of want to play that, just like when it comes up in the timeline. But regardless of that, I'm thinking what I really want to do is, I mean, especially considering, I guess sometime in November they're going to be releasing the Apollo Justice 3DS remake. I really want to play that as it comes out, and I don't want to be bogged down by doing the investigation series, which, you know, this stream series, it takes something like 12, 13 streams for me to finish one of these games. So I honestly kind of want to go ahead and do the when it comes time to do the Apollo Justice game, I think I'm going to take sort of a leave of absence with it, and I'm going to be doing some other games on the side while I'm working on that, working up to it. That's my plan. And yeah, so we'll see how many more streams we're going to have of the original Phoenix Wright series before then. Funny enough, I was looking at the release date for the 3DS remake. They haven't released any more information aside from it's coming out in November. Shrug, and that's it. Like that's the window. So it could happen at the beginning or the end, maybe in the middle. I don't know. I kind of hope it's at the beginning of November though, because I mean, I got a lot of games that I'm interested in doing on the stream, but I would love to dive back into Phoenix Wright after I'm done with it. Okay. Anyway, enough talking from me. I'm going to get a move on here. And thanks for coming out. See you next time.